Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. If you all remember in the last rant, I said I had a feeling production would step in to make sure Jag couldn't make Matt pay for his horrible choke last week. And that's what they have done. You know, this is the same production team that went out of their way right before Jerry to screw over Mimi. You know, not only did they pick a veto comp that was in the dark, relying on a trope that black women were afraid of the dark to make sure Mimi couldn't come off the block. Cameron wins veto. They still convince him not to backdoor Cory there. Preferential treatment. Now this week, Matt's on the block. Now he no longer can say he never touched the block all season, but now he's clearly a sitting duck, and clearly Jag wants to get rid of him. Jag puts all of his ducks in a row. He got rid of Sari last week, that way he could backstab Matt now. Only 4 feeds to go down for a few hours, and all of a sudden for Jag to have this change of heart built around, I don't want to ruin opportunities for myself in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me and if you ask the average fan who remembers 24, this is eerily similar to when Taylor Hale went into the DR, came out, and all of a sudden was anti-Monty. It's the same exact playbook. You just have to be the one willing to see it for yourself. And in this 38th rant entitled Stooping to the Stone Age, we got to break down that. We got to break down Apple Cory trying to rig the AFP vote against Sari Fields. They're so desperate to stop black people from a three-peat and black people from a four-peat in terms of AFP that they have just revealed all of their cards and showcased truly their inner prejudices. Ladies and gentlemen, kick your feet up and get yourself a cold beverage. This rant right here is therapeutic because I know a lot of us need it right now. We got to discuss all the people who are to blame for why we truly are now fully in the Stone Age. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Recency Bias Radio. I'm, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, the joy boy of the reality TV space. And we're now in outer space, and I'm here to accommodate you all, and I hope you all have safe travels along the way. Understand, in all seriousness here, I feel bad for Felicia. And I know I joked about the off-code karma that her throwing Sari incessantly under the bus may come with, and it feels like it has come with that. It's almost as preloaded as Matt's sympathy, like a game shark on N64. You know, what I'm most ticked off about is the idea that every time this season could get interesting, production steps in to interfere. But every time a black person can be saved from something, they never step in to interfere then. But we still have people trying to create the argument that this game was rigged for someone black every week. How can people still create these tired narratives? After a certain point, you gotta just admit that you have an agenda and there's something wrong with you. Because let's just keep it real in these streets. At this point, the only narrative that is true is that production were so desperate to get their ratings back up that they tried to rig this show to a Make-A-Wish Foundation patient. That's at least how it looks. With all due respect. I'm joking here, but I'm halfway serious. Because let's just be real. Who reminds us? When we see Matt get all of these kid gloves, when we see Matt just be allowed to keep skating by and never gets voted out at any point for any mistake he makes, who does it remind us of? It reminds us of Taylor's win. And unfortunately, this is another negative side effect of a win that wasn't all the way deserving. This is the negative side effect of getting an undeserved victory, just on paper, an undeserved victory, and not giving the black man any credit for doing for you what has never been done for any black woman that preceded you. For Taylor to not have the self-awareness in that moment to understand she had a big responsibility. What did Uncle Ben say in Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. Her responsibility was to keep the golden age alive. For whatever reason, Taylor is like Sylvie from Loki. She just wanted to destroy the entire timeline. She didn't care how many different, she didn't care how many branches popped out, how many Nexus events came out of her actions. All she cared about was getting the lick back. All she cared about was getting the final say. But at the end of the day, was it really worth it, Taylor? If your final say has screwed over all the black women you claimed your win was meant to help win after you? See, from my vantage point, it feels as if you deep down don't really want black women to win after you because you don't want to become history. In terms of you don't want to be forgotten. You do so many things to be in the public eye. You say so many statements like the one you said about Blue Kim just to have some attention on your name, just to have some clicks, just to have people typing about you. It comes off as desperate, especially when once again, you made history. You were the winner who has won the most money in Big Brother history. You are the winner that was supposed to bring balance back to the Force. Instead, you turned into Anakin Skywalker once he had that vision Padme was going to pass. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like you have lost the young Annie that you were when you were in Tatooine, and now you're just this Darth Vader creature, who just always resorts to dark side tactics. But you have the white media backing you, trying to create the argument you're a Jedi. Anyone who truly knows what's up knows you set us up to fail. And because you set us up to fail, and deep down you're aware that you set us up to fail, you're trying to make Blue Kim some scapegoat. You're trying to get all of black people to focus on what Blue Kim is doing wrong. See, the truth is, Taylor, if Blue Kim wasn't so loyal to black people this season, you would have a point about her being culturally appropriative. You would have a point. But when you were the one who allowed Mecole to get away with being anti-black your season, do you have a right to have all this energy for Blue Kim? When you were the one who literally a few weeks ago just did a podcast with Brittany Hoops, someone who voted you out because she didn't want you to make history as the first ever black woman to win, but now all of a sudden you're acting as if she's your best friend. It's interesting. You give more grace to a woman who voted you out than a black man who won you $750,000. But you're the one trying to tell other people who is culturally appropriating. It feels like projectionism. It feels like you're the true cultural appropriator. You're being exposed because you made your entire win about swirling, which further set up black women to fail. This is why Kirsten came into the game thinking, I got to give production what they want. I can't afford to flirt with Jared. I got to flirt with Matt. Even Kirsten thought that's what she needed to do to make the end because of whose legacy, Taylor? So understand. I've always known that the black man's contribution is so important, it's arguably the most important cog in any pro-black will you can have. If there's no black man in the home, that family suffers. I don't care what anyone says. There's certain nutrients, there's certain game, there's certain knowledge those kids just ain't gonna have. The white media is quick to tell you you don't need a black man to be rearing your children either. The white media says a lot of things to black people to ruin us, slowly but surely. The white media loves to tell black women how they need to go about life. But oftentimes the advice they give y'all is the advice that keeps you dependent on white people. They never teach you how to go fish for yourself. They just teach you how to rely on them to give you fish. The black man's the one willing to go do the fishing and teach you how to fish. That's why we're the ones that always get bashed so much. And I don't know what Taylor's real problem is, but she's always had some problem with black men. And this problem with black men, and if we're being quite fair, Tiffany also fell for this trap too, but Tiffany woke up out of it a year after her season. I'll give Tiffany credit there. She woke up out of it. Taylor, I was willing to give you the benefit of the doubt if you would have woke up out of it too a year later, but you're doubling down on it. Because once again, you don't want to own up to the fact that Matt did Cirie dirty because you're responsible for why there wasn't a Monty on this season. You don't want to own up to the fact that even if you endorse Cirie for AFP, you've been rooting for Apple Corey behind the scenes. The same stand base that's out here basically through the algorithm trying to rig the game. Look at this stuff, y'all. They got some 21-year-old finance virgin working on their behalf. Are you kidding me, coach? This stuff is disgusting to me. It's absolutely disgusting. They're over here asking, oh, are Sari fans doing this? Are they voting as hard as we are? This is how desperate they are to stop black greatness, man. This is how desperate they are to stop black people from staying at the top. But what does it say about a fan base that will act as if none of this is anti-black, even though black excellence bothers them so much? And what does it say about Taylor? That she likes the stan base that literally is the transplants of her stans. It says Taylor is not even on code this season with black people because she was on Apple Corey's side the most. You know, the people who ruined Sari's game by ruining Jared's game, which ruined every black woman's chance of Final Two. So, it makes sense that Taylor would hold a grudge with Blue Kim because Blue Kim doesn't like Apple Corey. See, you got to understand this. But if she doesn't like Blue for not liking Apple Corey, and Sari doesn't like Apple Corey, but she also doesn't like Jared, that tells me she's habitually line stepping. She is conveniently acting like she likes Sari when truth is, if you connect the dots, she doesn't like her either. She has to act as if she likes her because she has to act as if she's not being off code. That way she can be on this high horse to call out Blue Kim. But the fact that you only go on white media to diss allies of black people and black men showcases you're truly a coward. And it showcases you once again don't understand the mistake you made, which screwed over everyone black. See, I have birdies who tell me stuff every day. The rumor mill tells me stuff every day. People are telling me this beef between her and Tiffany also started because apparently there was something that came up in which Kylan needed some of his close friends to show up to be there for him. I'm not going to speak in specifics out of respect for Kylan, even though I believe the way he did Tiffany was dirty. But I'm not going to diss a member of the cookout just because Taylor wants to be divisive with members of the cookout. That's not how I roll. Understand, something came up with Kylan, a family emergency, we'll just say. And they decided to invite everyone to that thing except Tiffany. And this was around the time Taylor was, from what I'm being told, allegedly, this is when she was sneaky linking up with Kylan. Now, keep in mind, they live in the same damn house. They live in Todrick's house. Once again, this woman has all these standards of what Blue Kim needs to be. She doesn't hold Todrick accountable for being in Final Five with nothing but black people and a white woman, rigging the game to a white woman, right? She acts like all that's perfectly fine, right? She acts like she loves Xavier so much when Kylan did Xavier dirty on Challenge USA. I mean, she's always playing both sides. She just was terrible at playing both sides within the house, and that's why she always had to rely on the men around her to play both sides for her. Let's keep it real there too. She was always just forced to work with Brittany and Michael because her social game was garbage. But once again, no one wants to admit these things, as she tries to act like some analyst of the game. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a skewed perspective of what a good game looks like because you believe your game was top 5 all time, when it wasn't even, out of all winners, it's probably bottom 5 of all time, if we're being completely honest. But you have to understand that Taylor's win, it told a lot of non-black people that the black woman can win against anyone now. This turned the black woman into the bigger jury threat than the black man, but it always made the black man the person who need to be taken care of first. Because of these things, I knew as early as when I tried to implement the boycott that this season was a trap, this season was a joke, this season's trash. I'm happy a large portion of you heard me and adhered to my messaging and quit this season cold turkey. I'm proud of every single one of y'all. I have slowly begun to wane myself off this show completely. I now only cover it once a week. Now this time we're going to do twice a week because the season is wrapping up and there was an eviction tonight. But I didn't want to participate in watching that episode, and a lot of reasons for why I didn't want to watch the episode is because Taylor apparently is going to be on this week episode. I don't even want to support that trash. Because to me, production is out here parading her around as this distraction as they guarantee another black woman can't make finale night. It's like, oh, remember this black woman we allowed to make finale night and win? Okay, guys, forgive us for what we just did to Felicia, though. Nah, that's not how I get down. I'm someone who firmly believes you need to treat all black people well or treat us all bad. That way we know what it is. When you give preferential treatment to only a few of us, I'm going to keep it real in these streets. That creates animus in between the black community. And a lot of white entities know what they're doing with that. This is an old tactic since the Willie Lynch letters. Y'all need to do your research, man. You need to do your research, man. And I feel like if Taylor would have done her real research on the Willie Lynch letters, I think she would know everything she's ever done since she's won this game has been out of pocket. But this brings me to Jag. And this brings me to Bowie Jane, because Bowie Jane wins Final Four HOH on Thursday night. For all things considered, Bowie Jane knew if she wanted to win this game, she needed Matt to go this week. I could create the argument Jag knew Matt needed to go this week. That way Jag could win this game as well, because neither one of them wanted to be in Final Two with Felicia, really. I still don't believe Bowie would have ever took Felicia to Final Two over Jag. I don't believe it for a second. I think the fear of the black woman winning automatically, I think it's too strong. I think it's way too strong. And then when you take into context how hard Jag and Bowie Jane worked to bash Cherie and Felicia last week, all these things are connected. But that's why, even those things all considered, I still knew that Jag is the type of person to at least consider cutting Matt. And truthfully, he did. You can tell based off this video, he wanted Matt to go. So this guy acts super dramatic, right? He goes to bed, he thinks long and hard about it, feeds cut for hours earlier today, and then all of a sudden Jag changes his mind. He goes up to Bowie Jane and says this.
I'm gonna keep Matt.
Okay.
Because I think that's something I would regret.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that you were telling me.
It's not worth it.
And no matter what, it's like, fuck it, dude. We made a pact. We said we're the Mafia. We said we're the three. Let's just rock it and just win it straight.
Yeah, I think
like
that's right.
I feel like that's what feels right.
You'll
to
feel
me.
good after for that.
And like,
and if so be it, whatever.
It feels
happens.
right. Like making that decision feels like weight off my shoulders. Where I know I won't have to, like, after this, like, whatever's meant to happen will happen.
Yeah.
Now, are you paying attention? Clearly, production said something to Jag. Basically said if he didn't take Matt to Final 3, he would get canceled. You got to understand, Jag is a wealthy man with businesses. If he would have not allowed Matt to make Final 3, the likelihood that Jag would have been removed from all of his work with Special Olympics people would have been severed. In all likelihood, a lot of his businesses probably would have been, they would have probably been mass spammed with bad Yelp reviews and all the whole nine. Understand, you know the game has truly gotten to a terrible place when people have to worry about how the moves that they make that are in their own best interest will be perceived by the world. They don't care about the moves that are anti-black being perceived by the world. They only care about this one case with Matt. When they all know Matt washes all of them in Final 2. Doesn't matter to them. Somehow the black woman being able to wash all of them in Final 2, when she has won less comps, somehow that still makes her the apex threat even over Matt. See, this is the stuff I don't respect at all. Because by them saying it's not worth it, it's them saying getting rid of the black woman is worth it. By them saying it's not worth it, it is them saying no one black making it to finale night is a good look. By them saying it's not worth it, it is them selectively deciding to give grace only to non-black players. When this entire season, they haven't really shown grace to anyone. And if you paid very close attention to feeds today, Bowie Jane clearly is not really a big supporter of this move. She has to act as if she supports the move. Because if she doesn't act like she supports it, guess what? She's the new one that gets canceled. You see how that works? They're being blackmailed to allow this guy to skate to the finale night. Thanks, Taylor. Because Matt is the new you. I thought Applebee's was the new you. She was only you in terms of a couple guys, couple tribes. But in terms of what Matt represents to what is making this game worse, you definitely have influenced this season being handed to Matt. And do I still think Matt is likely to get cut on Thursday? Yes. But it's the idea that this production team handed him a letter that was tampering/rigging, And now they're trying to reward him for bad gameplay last week, which got out a black woman, by making sure he makes it final 3 over another black woman. It's almost as if, hey, Matt, do us this solid and get rid of this black woman, sell your soul, and we'll make sure Jag doesn't do you dirty on the back end. Nah, man, something about this ain't right. And if the game that's being played isn't organic, if you don't get to make it further in this game based off of your own gameplay implementation, and if it's always going to come down to all these other factors that have to do with race and stuff now, especially when for 20 plus years it never came down to this before, but now it does, you have to connect the dots. After Xavier's win, it wasn't like this. It just wasn't. Not to this extent. And that's really the saddest part of it all, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that Bowie Jane, she needed Matt to go out in the Final Four for the jury to believe she played a game worth winning. I think now she doesn't, even if she does win Final HOH, there is a percentage chance that Jag wins because she's the one that will be forced to do the villainous act of cutting Matt. You cut Matt? And I think this will make Sari vote against Bowie if she cuts Matt. I think whoever wins Final HOH and cuts Matt now loses the game because you went against the sympathy, right? Which is why they should have just cut him now over Felicia. It's some of the dumbest gameplay I've ever seen. It really is some of the gameplay. At least if you cut him this way, you can say, well, me and Bowie both share some of the blame. She nominated Matt, I voted him out. But now, whoever wins the Final HOH, it's solely on them for doing it, and that could be the difference in their jury management tanking or building. And that's another part of this that I need y'all to understand.
And no matter what he said or done or whatever, like, that is what it is, because...
I think that's good.
You know what I mean?
I think you'll feel better.
Yeah, and like, even just saying that out loud to you makes me feel better. So, let's just fucking go out there and let's win this next game.
So, as you all can see, ladies and gentlemen, now the mentality is, let's just go out there and win. Let's play fair and square. Let's let him make Final 3, and let's duke it out mano-a-mano, the Mafia 3. As if this alliance is iconic or something. This alliance is a joke thing. And now that we know Matt is only making Final 3 because of sympathy, not because of anything he ever did, it further makes Matt deserving of winning this game even lesser. It makes Bowie Jane deserving of winning this game even lesser. It makes Jag deserving of winning this game even lesser. And isn't this what I said? That this Final 3 would be the Final 3 people look back on in a few years and go, no one deserved to win this game? I mean, where's the Nether Gorgon when you need him, coach? We need him to show up, bring balance back to civilization, and stop these folks. We need him to just say, hey, man, the $500,000 that comes from winning this season, or whatever the winnings are now, it's now in the Nether region. You feel it, dig me, coach? Like, bro, we're done. We're absolutely done, coach. You know, we were on the precipice of true greatness. We were on the precipice of Felicia maybe pulling off one of the most incomparable victories from behind we've ever seen. She's gonna not even get the opportunity or chance to do it. It's a shock thing. You know, this production team, they saw all these fans online. I even saw Lisa be excited for Matt getting cut. That should tell you, that should give you some type of grasp on how black people from all different sectors of the reality TV space were rooting for this moment. Production still didn't give us what we wanted. The thing that they knew would lead to a rating spike on Thursday and a rating spike tonight, they didn't want. So I must ask, do y'all want your winter season to work? Do y'all want your winter season to be a success? Or do y'all want it to flop massively in winter time slots when people are supposed to be at home more to be able to watch it? It'll just look more embarrassing. And when you got BB canceling feeds, y'all better be careful now. Don't get no crazy ideas. It's going to get even worse. See, y'all don't realize this right now, but we are in the last days right now. Because the production team, their read on what the community truly wants is completely off. They are propping up players we don't really like that. They're propping up white media that has contributed to the Stone Age being here. Like, they're just making a whole bunch of mistakes, one by one by one. And at the end of the day, coach, why was it so difficult for them to just go, let the game play out naturally? Felicia played better than Matt played the last 2 weeks. She makes final three, she makes final three. Why do they have to go up to Jag and threaten him with all these, you can't do Amazing Race with Matt if you do this? I don't know what they said to him. Something tells me they said a lot to him to make him go, oh, I can't afford to do this. But that's the saddest part, ladies and gentlemen. The idea that we were this close from Felicia Cannon making final three and hitting them all with the cannon. Cannons to the left of them. Cannons to the right of them. We were that close, Coach. We were that close. You know, shout outs to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We were that close, Coach. And what did production say?
We don't do that here.
You feel like dig me, Coach? They straight up told us, no. We're not here for a good time. Huh? We're not here for that. We're not here for a great player to win this game. We're not here for likable people to play this game. We're not here to let the game play out and just be the cameraman watching it and just reporting the news unbiased and impartially. We're not here to do none of that. We're here to prop up Disney Plus showmances. We're here to prop up people who do what we say, and we're here to throw people under the bus for the same things that when our faves do it in the edit, we omit from the edit altogether. And that's the problem. You don't see Jag or Bowie's low moments in these edits as they do both black women dirty in Final Five. You don't see Cory's behavior dissing Sari every 2 seconds like you would have saw if someone else would have done it. You don't see Applebee's being problematic towards everybody black. All you see is her get a positive edit. And what is Taylor's way of calling all this out? Oh, that's right. She'd rather fixate on Blue Kim culturally appropriating than calling out the white folks who have been anti-black towards the people who followed behind her all season. Now do y'all see what the real problem is? We got a former winner who would rather call out an ally to black people than to call out the problematic white people from her season or the season after her. She'd rather take the path of least resistance at every turn and just make a whole bunch of white people laugh with cringy jokes than just be on code with black people. Taylor has more of a good time around white folks on white platforms than she had with nothing but black people on Juneteenth. But this is the girl trying to dictate what is and what isn't cultural appropriation. When even on Spicy V's channel, she made it a point of emphasis to just have all of these different thoughts, all of these different fantasies about all types of white guys she wanted to sleep with. This is the girl that has a problem when a black man swirls, but when she swirls, she thinks the whole world should look at that as true love. She's the real divisive problem here, because she gave white media a platform and a vehicle to divide the black community, which screwed Felicia out of Final Three. And I know what white media is going to do. They're going to try to pander and placate to all of you and make it seem like they care about her now. The truth is, they care more about Matt than they care about Felicia, because even with all of Matt's setbacks, even with as much that makes Felicia likable, they still prefer a non-black winner over a black one, because the black woman already won. And that's the saddest part about it. That's the saddest part about it. The idea that these people can change up on the fly from year to year, and Taylor still runs to them to allow them to be off the hook for it. She doesn't prop up any black creators that are trying to hold off the Stone Age. She goes to the white creators trying to keep the Stone Age relevant and prevalent. Man, listen. Oh, man. I feel like she's the Trojan horse that ruined Troy. I'm just going to keep it real in these streets. You feel it, dig me? Shout outs to Paris. You feel it, dig me? Like, I really do feel like she was the Trojan horse that started all of this. And I get it. A lot of people don't want to hold accountable the black woman. A lot of people believe the black woman goes through enough already. But we need to be real here. It didn't take much for Taylor to showcase some respect towards the black man. It didn't take much for her to just admit, hey, guys, yeah, I believe I played a good game, but Monty played a better game. It's okay to say that. It's okay. It's not like the money's going to be zapped from your bank account if you just say that out loud. But just like she weaponized her stance before or after BB24 to basically bully the Montes, now all of a sudden she's the main one complaining about the fact that the black community no longer rocks with her the same way because we know she did Tiffany dirty. Now she's trying to utilize those same stands to regurgitate these talking points, but these stands don't have any real influence. right? These stands, they've been exposed just like you have been. See, the truth is, a lot of people who were once on your side, they've jumped ship because they've seen what you did put us here. And I think Taylor is projecting her own off-court antics onto Blue because the truth be told, Blue is not the problem here. Truth be told, Blue had every excuse to abandon the black man because of the terrain you put even the black man in. Blue decided, I'm not going to do what production wants me to do and abandon this man. I'm not going to sleep with Cameron to get Cory backdoored. I'm not going to, I'm not going to flirt with Matt. And see, that's another thing. Matt's out here basically admitting that he lusted over Blue Kim. So, understand, for Matt to admit these things on feeds, honestly, it just tells me that he knew that Reilly wasn't really into him. And it tells me he worked that hard in the NFL scouting combine to get Jared out because he was hoping that someone else would take pity on him. And this once again showcases Matt is not that innocent. He's fully aware of what he gets away with enough to exploit it at every turn, just like Taylor knows what she continues to get away with, that she exploits at every turn. Once again, another parallel created by the rant god. You have to understand, what Matt's doing is not going to ruin the white community, but what you have done has managed to almost ruin the black community. And I'm not asking for you to apologize publicly to everybody black. I know you're not humble enough to do that. And I know you're too tone deaf to realize you need to. But what I do know is the last thing we need right now is for you to be trying to shit on the allies to us when we're currently in the Stone Age, because that just stops more allies wanting to support us. Oh, if the black winners are just going to diss us for supporting black people, why should we? It's as if Taylor is trying to set up black people for the future to have no allies. It's as if she's trying to set up every black woman to have only one black man to have their back and have no non-black people willing to stand up for them. As she had Brittany, Michael, Monty, Joseph, Turner, even Terrence with the whole Family Reunion Alliance wanted to work with her at some point. You had a lot of people trying to protect you, but only one of them wanted to take you to Final Two. And that was the guy you decided to make the scapegoat for everything. I bet you if you could interview Felicia, if you could interview Sari, if you could interview Mimi, if you could interview Kirsten, and if you just asked them one simple question, do you believe one of you could have made Final Two if there was one more black man on this cast and one less white man? I'm willing to guarantee you every single one of those sisters would say yes. Taylor, you're responsible for why there wasn't one more black man. So by definition, you were the cause which led to the effect of why now black women can't even crack Final Three. I hope you're proud of yourself because you stooped so low that now you've given every non-black player the right to stoop to the Stone Age themselves. I'm Dave Smith for Recency Bias Radio with no one is safe from criticism. And it's unfortunate that production had to step in here and they had to stoop so low to guarantee nobody black can make Final Three. It's embarrassing to me, but this does make sense. Why else did they work so hard to make sure Mimi didn't make jury? They didn't want none of those sisters after Mimi to be able to win the game. Why did they want this jury to be majority non-black so badly to make the jury 7-9? Because they didn't want anyone black to win the game. All these things are considered. Think about it for a second. If Matt would have been in Final Two next to Sari, but if Jared and Izzy have made jury, no one would have cared about Matt's story. Sari's winning the game. If production crafted this season to be handed to Cory or Matt, they couldn't allow 3 black people in jury, let alone 4, let alone 5. So this is why we are in the terrain we are in, and I think it's time for us as a community to just come to grass with it. But now I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What is your thoughts on the Apple Cory stands? Working this hard to screw Sari out of AFP. What does it say about Taylor? That she won't denounce these stands for cheating someone black out of something. I think it says a lot about her. And I'm not falling for the excuse that she's unaware of these things. She's aware of Apple Cory stands enough to be one of them. Stop the lies. So we got Apple Cory stands trying to rig the AFP to no longer go to black women. We got players in the game being convinced by production to make sure a black woman doesn't crack Final 3. We got Taylor going out of her way to diss allies and black men at every turn while having no energy for anyone problematic that is white. And people wonder why the black community is in the position we are in moving forward. It's because maybe, just maybe, if more people would have listened to me, we could have avoided all of this. But unfortunately, people bought the narratives that I was the problem, not realizing I was part of the solution. And sometimes, to get the job done, you got to be willing to get your hands dirty. And in the past, I've been willing to get my hands dirty, call out the people who need to be called out. But every time a black man speaks up, they just call us emotional. They just say we're jealous, or they just say we wish we were someone else. They have all of these built-in excuses to nullify our thought process or our talking points. This is why it's important for sisters to commandeer these narratives and start telling them from their vantage point more often. Because I'm here to tell you, if Taylor knew that every black woman would push back against her for all of these comments, she would stop making them. And currently, she's starting to see she no longer has the influence she once had. I'm seeing black women now more than ever go to battle for Blue Kim because they know Blue Kim did nothing wrong. Yeah, Blue Kim had that 1 week where she threw Jared on the bus a bit, but she's atoned for that massively, and she's the one who got Cory out, and this is why Taylor doesn't like her. Because Blue Kim actually is anti-white showman's pro-black man. These are the things Taylor diametrically opposes. So now you can understand. But, once again, how can the woman who supports white showmances and is anti-black men in general, how can she be the one telling us who we need to accept as allies of the black community? This is the same woman who has never checked Michael, never checked Brittany, never checked Turner, never checked Kyle. But she wants to check Blue Kim? That's quite convenient. And just like Jag decided to take the path of least resistance to make sure he had opportunities down the line, I think you also engaged in this divisive off-code behavior so you could have opportunities down the line. But what does it say about white media? What does it say about these execs at these networks? When the only way they are willing to throw money at sisters is if they're anti-black men. It says we got a real problem at the root here, and we need to get down to the bottom of it. And I'm Dave Smith for Reilly Bias Radio, and I think we've just reached the basement. I think we figured out what the real root of it is, and I think now people can begin to start to heal. Listen, I said at the beginning of this season, I didn't require someone black to win. I just require you to treat our representatives with respect. Y'all can't even treat us with respect as you beat us. People keep saying the cookout or this or that. The cookout showed respect to you when they kicked your butt. The cookout didn't disrespect you at every turn. The cookout didn't force you to cook and clean for them, but you won't allow them to make Final 3. The cookout didn't talk about how they wanted you to be the help in the jury house. The cookout didn't do these things. Because the cookout understood with great power comes great responsibility. Monty understood that great responsibility. That's why on the challenge, he hasn't changed his ways. Even after Taylor did him dirty, he still has the back of future black women. He's not going to allow one bad apple to spoil the bunch. But Taylor, you've allowed one interaction with one black man to skew every interaction and every perception you have of black men moving forward. And that's the part you need to get checked out. I'm Dave Smith of Reilly Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. And this is as good of an assessment you're going to get psychologically, no doubt. It's ironic because Brittany won't say these things to Taylor's face, so someone needs to say it to her. You feel dig me, coach? I hope you all enjoyed this rant, and if you could, please don't forget to like this video, comment underneath it, and give me your thoughts. Are you disappointed by the fact that Felicia's gone? Are you disappointed by production screwing her over? Are you willing to agree with me that every black fan heading into this winter season should boycott it and not watch a single episode? I think that needs to be our response. We need to let them know we won't tolerate this BS. And if this production team allows Apple Corey to even be top 3 in votes when it's now fully exposed that they're out here cheating in the actual voting process, it'll just further show how desperate they are to whitewash everything that was once black excellence. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time for another one. Deuces. It's a damn shame.